Good day, YouTube. Today I'm going to talk about what somebody requested, which is how do officers get promoted. My experience, of course, is with the Air Force, not the other branches. There may be similarities and differences as well, so I'll focus more on the Air Force side as far as how that works. When I commissioned, I was a second lieutenant, and 2 years later, as long as you don't get into any trouble, it's automatic to the date. 2 years later, you get first lieutenant. First lieutenant, again, it's instead of being a butter bar, which is the gold bar, now you're the silver bar. 2 years from there, from being a first lieutenant, you will be promoted to captain. Captain, it's pretty much a given, but the percentages are going to vary. Let's just say it's right around 85% to 90% approval rating to captain. What I mean by that is your board, there's going to be a board that's going to look at your records. Is this person on track? What are they doing? Yes, good. You get a letter saying you've been selected for captain. When that happens, I would recommend keep that letter. The reason is because I was given that letter, but I didn't keep it. I was like, well, I'll just get promoted to captain on this date, which is your 2 years later from first lieutenant. And then down the road, there was a question as to whether I had that letter or not, and I needed proof and I couldn't find it. So any documents like that, make sure you keep because they're important. It's a promotion letter. So you get promoted to captain in the Air Force at 4 years. You don't really have to do that much outside of your job and do a good job and stay out of trouble. 85 to 90% that you'll get promoted to captain. Now, getting promoted to major, which is my current rank, is a little bit different. To get promoted to major, you have to have time in grade and time in service. I don't know the exact number of years, but you're going to meet a board again. The board is not as high as 85% to 90%, like I said, for captain. The other thing is you have to complete your professional military education to get promoted to major. And that PME, professional military education, is Squadron Officer School. Either you can go to Maxwell Air Force Base, temporary duty, and complete the course there, which is what I recommend. I did that as a reservist. It's about 5 weeks. Sometimes that changes, could be 4 weeks or 6 weeks. So just know that you have to complete Squadron Officer School. Or if your schedule doesn't allow it or you're not selected for SOS, you can complete that correspondence. That means that you do it from home, independent study, you take the test, you write the papers, whatever's involved, because that changes as well, and you complete Squadron Officer School by correspondence, or like I said earlier, in residence. And in residence mean you attend at the actual school. I always recommend attend the school whenever possible. It's not always possible, so it's understandable as long as you complete that. And then if you don't get selected for major the first time, then you're going to meet a board the following year, and that is right around the 10-year mark or so that you actually meet that board. I know it's not exactly the 10-year mark, but it's right around that time. That's my current grade right now. There are some differences from active duty and reserve, and I'll talk about that in just a moment. So right now, I've been a major for 4 years. My board will meet in 2 years, which seems like a long time from now. 2018 summer is when my board will meet. I've already completed my PME for that next grade, and that is Lieutenant Colonel. That PME is Air Command and Staff College, ACSC. That's a 10-month school. Either you attend in residence or you complete it by correspondence. What I did is I completed that 3 years ago by correspondence. I did independent study, knocked it out, done deal. The other thing is these boards look for growth, for responsibility that you take, that you lead, because as an officer, you're going to lead immediately. And the best thing that you can do is learn from the previous individuals that your mentors and what worked for them, what didn't, and then you start to do that as well. So you want to have a competitive record. It's not automatic. The higher you get in the military, in the Air Force, the tougher it gets to make rank. My board will meet in 2018. I have everything there. I have growth, I've got progression, I have my PME, I have my master's degree, even though for Lieutenant Colonel, it's masked. Now that's a big debate. Masked means the board doesn't know if you have your master's degree or not. But don't wait for the last minute to complete that. Complete that as soon as possible, because in the future it could change where it's not masked. They're going to see that. And if you don't have that, somebody else does. That person may get promoted before you. So in two years from right now, they're going to meet a board, my records, and either I'll get promoted or not. If I don't get promoted in 2019, I will actually have another opportunity to meet that board and hopefully get selected for promotion. And then so forth with Colonel, even though I don't have any experience with that 06. Now let me tell you about active duty and reserve. Some differences is the similarities first is they both go through boards. For active duty, once you get selected for the next promotion, you have to wait. Let's just say I was Reg-AF, regular active duty, even though I am active duty, but I'm active duty right now for the reserve. So if I was active duty, Reg-AF, that means my board would have met, let's just say this year. Sometime next year, I get promoted to the next grade, Lieutenant Colonel. In the reserves, the way it works is if I am in a job that's for an 05, which is Lieutenant Colonel, and I'm currently a major, I'm going to meet a position vacancy board, which means I'm already doing the job in a slot of an 05, which is Lieutenant Colonel, even though I'm an 04. If I get promoted, if they select me for a promotion, because I'm in a position vacancy in a slot already for an 05, I get a phone call from my commander, and he or she is going to say, congratulations, you were promoted effective the date that the results came out. That's what happened to me 4 years ago. I was actually in a school, and my commander called me, and he said, congratulations, you've been promoted. In 2 days, have your uniform ready because you're going to be wearing major. And that's the way it works. Now, right now, I'm actually in a major slot. So if I get, let's say 2 years from now, I'm still in the exact same slot, in a major slot, I'm still going to meet the board. However, if I get selected for promotion, I can't put on Lieutenant Colonel until I find a job that is for a Lieutenant Colonel. That's the way it works. That's a snapshot of how promotions work, but in a nutshell. I hope it's been helpful. Again, if you ever have any questions with that, let me know below. Write a comment, your question, and I'll reply to that. My recommendation, though, definitely is ask questions of the people that you work with, the officers who are ahead of you, and make sure you get your education out of the way. Professional military education, most importantly, is your job. What kind of job are you doing? What kind of jobs are you doing? Are you leading? Do you have commander experience? Which is, I don't have commander experience. I have section commander experience. But get the jobs out there where they're going to provide you growth and opportunities to lead. Make it happen. Take care.